Hey guys, so finally I'm making a video for 21's disbandment, and obviously I tried to film this the day the news came out, but I couldn't really gather my thoughts of what I wanted to say, because obviously I made a video for Minji's departure. So if you haven't watched that video, watch it. I kind of just let out my feelings regarding that, but this was something I was not going to be surprised about. I know it's gonna come sooner or later. 21 was not going to work without Minji anyways, because she was a really key factor in 21 songs. She basically was kind of the like the backbone of the group. I think that's a really good way to describe it. Minji's voice really matured over time, and she was the best singer in the group, in my opinion. But that's already talked about, and I think a lot of people even just mentioned that in their videos. Obviously, it's really sad, but this is going to come sooner or later, because this was already leading up after them not coming back for 2 years now. It's going to be 3 years now in this new year, but they disbanded now, so that's just kind of obvious. But 21 was, aside from like just talking about reasons why they disbanded, I want to talk about more of my journey with 21. I don't really talk about 21 that much on my channel, because obviously, just looking at their discography, 21 only has 4 physical releases in Korea, and that's and just look at a group like Twice. Twice already has 3 releases, and they've only been in K-pop for like a year. G-Friend has 4 releases, and they've only been in the game for just 2 years now. And 21 only has 4 Korean releases. That just answers the question. But 21 is a very special group for me, because I grew up listening to 21, and even though I'm a Sowon, and I never really actually became a Blackjack because of the lack of releases, but I vividly remember listening to Lollipop for the first time, and I was like 13-year-old. That's like 13-year-old me being like first really diving into K-pop, because I got into K-pop when Donbangshinki released like Neurotic, and around that time. But back then there wasn't a lot of resources to really learn about groups and that much, and I was quite young back then, so I just listened to the artists and the groups, solos, but I didn't really know who was singing it. And I don't even remember. I vividly remember that I first listened to Donbangshinki, but other than that, like, I don't remember listening to anybody else. And one of the few groups that I really remember, and probably the only other group that I remember back then really actively listening to, was 21. And I was basically there for their pre-debut days with Lollipop. I remember watching that video and just being obsessed with it and replaying that song a bunch of times, and then listening to Fire, and then showing it to my friends in school, and they're like, what the heck is this? But I was obsessed with it. And then I would listen to I Don't Care, Pretty Boy, this mini album. It's very special to me because it's filled with memories. And when then I started learning more about K-pop. I just 21 is for every release they had, like, and I can't even remember that much for even my favorite group like SNSD and Domangsiki. I don't even vividly remember every time they release something, like whenever they come back. But for 21, I remember when I first heard each song, and that's how special they are to me. I would, when they had the singles for their second mini album, it's filled with memories for me. It's really nostalgic listening to 21, and that's why, like, I just can't get through my head just not having the girls anymore because they're so special to me. Like, I would listen to Lonely, Don't Cry, I'm the Best, like in the bus when I was on my way to school back in the day. And you know, it's even when Crush came out, I remember even remembering the moment I first watched the music videos. It's just a strange thing I have with 21 that I never had with any other group. And, you know, I'm going to miss just waiting for like that random comeback announcement and feeling all excited because I liked every single 21 song, and like, even for, like, they have a short discography, but whenever, like, even for other groups, I cannot pinpoint every single song out, because, for example, like, Domangsiki has a really big discography, SHINee has a big discography, but for 21, every time a song from 21 comes to my playlist, I know which song that is, like, instantly. It's really hard for me to really just come to the conclusion that they're not going to continue. But, you know, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you to all the girls. They have a special place in my heart. Basically, 21 is part of my childhood. So I'll always be listening to 21. But it's every time I would hear each specific song, it's going to bring a piece of my childhood. And I can't thank them enough for giving me that, you know, opportunity. Because I know a lot of people, like always want to remember things back in the day. But 21's music, that's what their music has done for me, and that's what they always is going to do for me. And I really want to get what I have left for them as soon as I can. Hopefully I'll be getting it, like, their live CDs, completing at least that, because they were that group that without them being in K-pop, a lot of these groups the newer groups would not be able to do, like, edgier concepts, and just having that distinctive sound. Okay, so that's, like, just me with 21 personally. And I also want to, now I just want to talk about this whole situation, how it's a mess. And I first want to start things off with, please do not hate Blackpink. at all, because they are not the reason why 21 is disbanding, and they don't deserve the hate. I obviously made a video for my opinions regarding Blackpink as well on their debut, and so if you want to watch that, most of those opinions are still there. I've grown to like them a lot now. If they continue with songs like Playing with Fire, I'm going to be buying their stuff, obviously, because I want to support them. They deserve a chance. Just because 21's disbanding, I'm not going to be hating on Blackpink. And one thing I'm really worried for is that a lot of their songs are going to sound like 21 songs. Like, you know how Boombayah, it sounds like a smash up of Fire and I'm the Best, kind of that. And just the layering of the songs, they mimic how 21 songs are usually structured. Like, you have CL's singing and rapping parts, and then Minji's rapping parts and singing parts. Dara's random lines, and then the chorus belongs to Boom, and maybe she'll have one line or another line. And we've seen that with like Jennie having that rapping and then singing parts. Lisa mainly just rapping right now with certain singing parts, and then Rose with having mostly the chorus and parts of the song, and then Jisoo having those random parts in the songs as well. So you'll see how they reflect one another. I hope that they're trying to change it up a little bit. They've kind of done that with Playing with Fire, where, Jennie gets to sing the chorus, and, I don't even want to talk that much about Blackpink in this video, but it's really critical because 21 has a lot of unreleased songs that they've recorded throughout their active years, and this is one of the main reasons why I never fully became a Blackjack, because the lack of music really, you'll be like constantly waiting, and then I would never forget 21, but I would just be like, oh, when are they gonna come back? And then I would just get busy listening to other groups, and then not spending that much time, because 21 was extremely active when they first debuted until they released their second mini album. And then after that, for the weirdest reason, I do not know, I cannot understand why YG suddenly just stopped promotions for 21. And that's when I started really questioning, I think he's kind of giving up on this group, because for them to just wait a whole year after basically hitting the world platform with I'm the Best. And I think they even had a chance to maybe actually promote on Europe and maybe the US, try to give it a chance. Because and this is really this is what was special about 21. They my cousins, they don't listen to K-pop at all, and they don't know anything about K-pop. But randomly one time, one of my cousins who does not like K-pop at all, she randomly just said, asked me who sings this Bum Ratatata song, and she's like, I love that song, and they live in South America, and I was surprised, and they're I really enjoy listening to that song. So you can see that they kind of broke boundaries in people who don't know K-pop, and a lot of people mentioned this as well. They knew of 21, and that was the magic that they had. So a lot of these unreleased songs, they're really likely going to be put into Blackpink's albums, and I really, really hope that they just don't sound extremely the same, because, like I mentioned previously, how 21 songs are structured. I hope that Teddy makes something different, or changes it up, gives it like that edge that Playing with Fire had. Because I don't want to hear. I would be really pissed just be like listening to songs that were supposed to be released by 21. And Mason and a lot of people like touched on maybe having these unreleased songs released in some outlet. I completely support the idea. It just leaves fans in a way. It leaves something to the fans who supported them since the very beginning, or whenever you came in contact with 21 and became a fan. For me, I want that. I would definitely buy it. I want to basically show support one last time if it's possible. I really doubt YG is going to do that, because even though it would probably really do really well, he would want to stack those songs in Blackpink's albums or his other girl group that he's planning to debut. And now we're talking about how 21 just kind of crumbled apart. Well, put aside that bomb scandal that happened 2 years ago. Obviously, that affected them a lot. And YG really did nothing to really, he didn't do much to help the group. He kind of made it worse by just putting Park Bom in complete exile. She was kind of just disappeared. I think that a good solution would have been even at the Mamas that they had last year, just performing a new song and, pulling through with all the criticism, because if GD can come back after a drug scandal, I think Park Bom should come back after a drug scandal. And it was prescribed medication. Same thing for Psy. If MC Mong even had hits, he still has hits now, Visual Gangster, that's doing really well. And he's completely despised in Korea. So, Park Bom, even as a solo, she has two of the best-selling digital singles in all of K-pop. You and I is I think, if I'm not mistaken, within the top 10 or top 20 best-selling K-pop songs. And Don't Cry did really well as well. And even her featurings, every time she features on other people's songs, they go straight to number one. So if it's a good song, people are going to listen to it. So the way he handled that was just a mess. But what really slowed down 21's momentum, like I mentioned earlier, was YG completely stopping promotions after the I Am the Best era. They completely shattered a lot of charts worldwide because the song was really appealing to various audiences. Then they just completely disappeared, released I Love You, and they released I Love You after a whole year. Basically, after the second mini album, they waited a whole year, they released I Love You, didn't do basically anything for the rest of the year. I Love You did pretty well. And, that showed that people still cared about 21 after a whole year. Then, the year after, he released 3 random songs, Falling in Love, Missing You, and Do You Love Me? And that year, they were actually supposed to release an album, and a lot of the songs were pushed back. And 21 even, filmed Happy, which was released for Crush, that they were actually supposed to make an album with with the love songs, and that featured Happy in it. Because they've had filmed that music video a long time ago. And I remember that 21 was supposed to make a comeback with Happy and probably another song. And they were teasing about it, and I don't know why that was held back. So that was an album release that was just completely put to the trash bin. And that's unreleased songs. Then they recorded songs for Crush. And that was released. And then I'm saying then a lot, but they were supposed to make another comeback by the end of the year. They released Crush, but after the whole bomb thing, that was held back. And then they probably recorded the songs in 2015, but they didn't come back at all. And obviously, once Minji left, they recorded other songs as well. So that's a lot of material that was being recorded, but never released. And one of the things that I commented on other people's videos and that I didn't mention is that, I can understand why 21 is disbanding. The girls, one of the things that really weakened 21 as a group was the age gaps between the members. Half of the group is really young, half of the other group is kind of old. Dara and Bum are in their 30s now, and if you know how K-pop works, older singers, they don't get, especially female singers, they don't get that much support because a lot of the fans just leave the fandom and just grow out of them. And then you got Minji, who debuted when she was 16 years old and still has a lot to prove. And CL was 18 or 19, I think so. But she's still quite young. And you don't know what the girls want individually. I think they want to still continue as 21, but not promote that much as a group. Just release material and then just go their own ways and then come back together and then release other materials, That's how I think the girls wanted things to sort out, because I think they genuinely like each other. I don't think they had any fights with one another. But just them Dara probably want to do more individual activities, and then Bohm never got an album for herself. We're still waiting for a CL, actual physical release. We've been waiting for that for a long time. And then Minji never got anything. So that's why she left. She was just sick of it all. And the other three were just kind of been patient. But they've been giving at least something, because Bohm was given solo songs. And that definitely proved that she deserved an actual album. And he could have released these things, these solos, and promoted them as individual acts during those hiatus that they took, after that second mini album. And you can see how their sales were affected with those breaks, because they still did really well in the charts, but not as well as it did once before. But yeah, and one of the things, 21 lived up more to what they were set up for, was to just be a female version of Big Bang. They were their own group. In my opinion, they did take those elements that Big Bang had, but they had something unique. And they can't be replaced at all by Blackpink, because Blackpink is more formulated to mimic 21, because that's YG's idea of basically trying to copy what 21 had. But you can't really copy something that just, the chemistry that they had, everything just, it flowed, it worked. And because each member was kind of just more destined to be a solo artist more than anything, because CL has so much charisma and the other girls feed off her. And then you got Minji, who just grew over time to become flawless at performing. And then Bohm's unique voice gave that 21 color to their music, and then you just got random Dara, who is just gorgeous girl that's just given like the most hideous haircuts, the most ugly outfits, but pulls them off on stage. And you know, she also gave the group their edge as well. So the girls had something special. And you see a lot of these articles being like, oh, this person was supposed to be a 21 member, and this person was like, you just can see that they would never have worked with any of these other random trainees that are saying like, oh, I was supposed to be in 21, or these actresses are like, oh, like they were destined to be together. It just all clicked. And there's never going to be any group like 21. And I think a lot of you newer fans that are really definitely like the new wave of K-pop fans have to really appreciate that without 21, a lot of these like electronic pop songs would not be as popular as they are right now. Even boy groups took inspiration from 21, and they left a legacy. At the very least, even though they were very neglected, mistreated, and they deserved a lot more. In my opinion, they deserved a lot more. So please support each 21 member. They really need the love. I don't know what's going to come next of any of the girls, because even CL was YG's little gem, and I think he might even give up on her because she's not getting that much success in the US. But that's a whole nother story and a whole nother video. That would just make this video a lot longer than it's supposed to be, that it already is. But I didn't even want to script this because I wanted to just let everything out, because it's kind of therapeutic for me. I'm going to miss them so much. I hope that Bohm is my bias. I hope she gets to release something and that she fucking kills it, so she can shove all that hate up everyone's mouth, because it's really upsetting, in my opinion. This is like being completely unbiased because I'm not a blackjack. I think Bohm has the most beautiful voice in K-pop. Like, without a doubt, she just doesn't know how to control it. YG did nothing to really help her. And I hope she gets back on track. So please support, especially Bohm and Minji. They need the most support out of the group, because Minji's just like didn't get the opportunities to really build a fan base for herself. While Dara had just that fame from the Philippines, and you know, she's always had a good fan base. And then CL, so she was like kind of the face of 21. She had her own fan base, but then you got Bohm, who completely like is being put under pressure by a whole country, and then Minji, who's just never given the opportunities to really shine on her own. So please give those two the most support, and because Bohm needs it, because she's got her mental problems and her issues with like plastic surgery and all that. And then you got Minji, who just wants to show everybody what she's made of. And I'm gonna buy whatever they put out, and obviously support anything Dara puts out if she ever wants to release music, which I don't think she's going to without the girls. I think she wants to do more movies and dramas and TV shows. And then obviously CL, who has huge potential to become a huge star. So much charisma, so much star quality to her, and it's not being managed properly, in my opinion. She's got the team. She has Scooter Braun backing her up. I don't know why she's not being featured on Justin Bieber or Ariana Grande songs, or even on Diplo, who's her friend. We'll see time will tell what it's going to do for, what's going to happen with each girl. And yes, sorry for the long video, but I think the girls deserved, I really wanted to say thank you, and they deserve their own video, at least in my channel. And I think every 21 fans should really voice out their opinions, because maybe, well, with everyone complaining and just voicing out how much they love 21, you just never know. Maybe the girls, like, one day get together and release something, you know, as a thank you, and maybe them just really wanted to release some music together. People thought the Spice Girls were over, and they released random materials, and then Destiny's Child is always rumored to release new things. And 21 is going to go down in history as one of the best girl groups of all time, in my opinion, because they were trendsetters. Even though they didn't have that much music, they were trendsetters, and they released a solid discography. And yeah, they proved everyone wrong. And yes, thank you for watching this video. And yeah, comment down below anything you want to say about 21. And yeah, I wanted to show this album because this album was the beginning for me for 21. And I don't have another album because I don't think it's the end of them. They still are going to prove a lot of things individually. Yes. Bye guys. See you guys on the next video.